Howdy peeps, I just fired things up a little bit early because I was here and got things figured out a bit early, so just waiting for people to turn up, so we shall see what happens. Perhaps someone will, perhaps no one will. Oh, we got first person turned up. Who have we got just arrived? Is it someone to troll me? Or is it someone to be nice? Let's see. I just open today's drink of choice. And swig. Oh, we're up to 2. Even got a like. Wow. Howdy peeps. If you were here last week, you'll no doubt notice a slightly better camera and hopefully better audio. I went and got myself a new laptop camera, webcam. So if you can hear me, let me know in the text, in the chatty. If you can't hear me, let me know. Oh, cheers, Red Star. Can you actually hear me, or have I got some setting wrong, or as I say, I'm kind of expecting to get trolled by a few people today. Oh, good. Thank you very much. You know how it is. You get a new gadget and you can never really tell if it's working properly. But yes, so I guess it's your first time here. Behind me is a 200 litre, which is 45-gallon community tank. Down there is a 25 litre, which will be a breeding tank for rams. It's just got one female ram and some small fish in. And down there, that one is my little shrimp breeding tank, 20 litre. And then random models scattered about all over the place, as it's a multi-purpose channel. And I will just say again, yeah, I'm up to 7, but I've only been, 6 aquariums, a fry grow out tub and hospital tank, plus a pond, which isn't too bad, because I've only been doing this for 13.5 months. Oh, please don't tell me I left my lighter over there. Nightmare. Oh, no, it's in my lap. But yes, so I'll go in. I think the American rating is PG-17. English would be 15 rated. So there may be some swearing. It may get a little bit crude. And other than that, I do smoke. So sorry, but I don't drink alcohol anymore. So I've got to have one vice. Yeah, I was hoping some more people turn up. Well, this could be a really short and really boring live stream. I'm hoping I've not gone over anyone else. Though me being me, I can't quite figure out how to share a link yet. So if you can share a link out anywhere, feel free, go for it. And this weekend's non-sponsored drink of choice, Red Bull. So what's been going on this week with me, fish tank wise? Not a huge amount. We've had water changes, we've had plant trimming, we've had dealgification. One of the Pseudomugil furcatus, the fork-tailed rainbows, one of the males unfortunately died in there. No idea why, no sign of illness, didn't look at all injured or beaten up, so no. One of the glow light danios that's in the swivel flex that's literally right there. Managed to jump and hide up in the pump compartment, so I had to catch that and bring it out. There's Paul. Hi up, Paul. Here come the trolls. Now, is that Paul or is it Warwick? Hey, Luke. Yeah, here come the modelers. Here comes the trolling and the abuse. Well, the way this is looking, it might end up being a modelling stream rather than a fishy stream, but that's all cool. So, yeah, I would say if you've got any questions, feel free to ask, but with the reprobates that are turning up right now, it's probably not the best thing to say, but hey, what am I going to do? More likely to embarrass them than myself, so go for it. But yeah, so that one down there is the shrimp tank, Paul. Yeah, it'll be down Gamers Meadow, Paul, and if I, yeah, well, see, Luke, I'm not on someone else's channel now, and if I lean back much further, I'm going to get a wet head and about 200 litres of water on the floor. Oh, we got others. Troll away. It's all view time. Although I did check, I did say check, it actually for some reason came up on screen, so I am now eligible for adverts and super chats. I take it you guys are in the hangout already, and this is probably being played in the hangout. Oh, God, I'm going to get it in the neck on Monday, aren't I? Not playing me live. That's a result. But yeah, it's a bit of a strange thing just sat here talking to a screen. But hey, at least I know some of the people here. Yeah, so. Oh yeah, I've definitely got a face for radio and a voice for silent movies. Why do you think I tend to stay off camera most of the time? It's because I make Warwick look attractive. Hey, Alien World. Good to have you aboard. And if any of you fishy peeps are interested in scale modelling at all, you can subscribe to International Scale Modeler and Bearded Rifle Model Works. Sorry, Black Rifle Model Works. Both got their own YouTube channels. Both very informative and interesting, and comedic on occasion, especially when Luke's up at like 3 in the morning. TR38. No, I don't, Alien World. I think that's one of those where there aren't really any decent kits of it around at the moment. I think there's some older. There's a new one. Hey, Alice, you nutter. See, I tucked my curls in for you, Alice. So you didn't freak out again this. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I've got myself a Logitech webcam now, Alice, rather than the potato that was built in. Oh, hi Dan, get back to work. Oh, it's Saturday, isn't it? Damn it. Yeah, so it's about 300% improvement in the camera that I'm using now, and the built-in mic in the camera is so much better. Thanks, Dan. Behind, in front, to the side. That's your use about at the moment. We've got some platies, some guppies, a couple of ember tetras about, forktail rainbows, big bosemani. Yeah, it's needs another trim again. But then I say the limnophilia and the other stem plants do grow fast. Yeah, I figured I might be getting played in the hangout. So, hey to everyone else in the hangout. And yes, I know I'm going to get grief next time I join a hangout. But hey, that'll never change, Alice. I've been smoking now for, yeah, basically 30 years. So, got to die of something, so it might as well be something I enjoy. Yeah, well, it's no, that's a 550ml Red Bull. That's not one of the little 250s. I'm not big, but I'm not small. I mean, this T-shirt is an XL, so there we go. Hey, Bob, how you doing, buddy? There's yeah, some very impressive looking frags and corals you got there. I saw this morning. No idea what any of them are, but they look cool. As did the fish. I've got a A10 kit up in the stash somewhere, Alien World. Although it's the Italeri one, it's just going to need a lot of resin and aftermarket parts for it to make it actually probably my favourite plane too, but it's going to need a lot of extra parts to make it good enough. Let's put it that way. So I don't know what I've got up there at the moment. There's all sorts. The giveaway is when you donate a prize pool. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah. Giveaway will be when I hit 10,000 subscribers. How's that? Oh, my favourite. Oh dear. I don't even know if I have a favourite. It's probably covered in dust if I do. I don't know which one I show up best on camera. Oh, let's see what we can grab. Oh yeah, better cover up the back of this t-shirt. What have we got? Oh, this thing's super delicate to pick up and covered in about half an inch of dust, but we have a 48 scale SU-27 flanker. And here's where the model guys start ripping me. Probably one of my favourites to actually build and paint was this guy. Couldn't get him out without breaking. This is a Games Workshop model. It's a Nagash, the Supreme Lord of the Undead. That's the kind of things I like. Stay. Yeah, generally Russian stuff or dead stuff. Oh, most complicated would be. Thanks, Paul. Most complicated would be probably going to be some of the Trumpeter T90s. I think the last one I built was 1,600 parts. Hey, Sam, you sexy beast, you. Yeah. Yeah, I tend to prefer the more complicated kits. Hey, Chris, multi-tank. Yeah, figures, figurines, busts. Although, I say the figure is a wargaming piece. So here's where it's going to get confusing for people, because we've got model peeps and we've got fishy peeps. It's a shame someone doesn't get round to making a bunch of fish models. That'd be ideal. Certainly be fun to paint. Craptors, no, I'm not a fan of dull grey aircraft, Alien World. They just don't. Yeah, Dan, I don't drink alcohol anymore. I'll explain it to you at some point in the future. It's probably not for a live stream. Oh, there you go, Chris. You found your home. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably best known for building either weird stuff or Russian tanks. That's pretty much my fortes. Random funky paint jobs and Russian tanks. So I suppose I really should do a Russian tank with a funky paint job. Hey, Frankie. Yeah, but if I don't have enough caffeine and sugar, Dan, I just don't function. So I balance it out with nicotine. So, you know, it's perfectly safe. Oh, the HO, yeah, the Flying Wing. It's one that's kind of on my list to do. But it's one of those where there are simple kits that are going to be dull to put together, and there is a very complicated kit that's rather tricky to put together and quite expensive as well, I believe. Is Azukimura still being made? Does anyone know? Which is the one that only the model. Now, Norm, is Azukimura HO229 still being made? UFO. I've not really built a UFO. There is a few models of the Haunebu with the German What If one, 1946 style. But no, I mean, I've got things like Cylon Raiders and I've got Battlestar Galactica stuff and Star Wars stuff and Games Workshop-y stuff. All sorts. Gundams. Yeah, I've thought about doing something like an Enterprise, but The kits don't tend to be great, and they're kind of fairly dull unless you add all the lights. Yeah, yes, Paul. I've done a Spitfire or 12. I actually did an entire build series on a Spitfire. Hang on, where is it? There should be a 109 and a Spitfire around here somewhere, unless they've all been crunched and gone in the bin, which is a distinct likelihood. No, that's no, 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 no. I think they might actually be upstairs or in landfill. Yeah, I've done 262s, 72 and 48 scales. I have in the past been a very prolific builder. Yes, Paul, I built P51s. Yes, and Marder 3s, and everything else I've either smashed with a hammer or stepped on or Hulk smashed. B25. So I'm not a huge fan of the big bombers. I've got a B17 kit upstairs. I just haven't got around to building it yet. It's a case of finding. I think the decal sheet is now available for my local airfield, so I might have to do that at some point. But there is someone else I know is doing a full build series on one on YouTube at the moment, so I thought I'd leave Mr. Mole to do that on his own. So yeah, it's oh no, poor Sammy. Yeah, it's one of the downsides of the hobby. Unfortunately, it's fish die. We get certain fish in particular have personalities, and oh, by all means, Bob, you share away, mate. So I think, yeah, no, Dave, for that one, for that absolute vicious, you're going by. There we go. That's all right, Alice. I've removed him. Something I'd like to do from a few other places, but there we go. Yeah, that's absolutely gutting, Chris. And I got upset enough when Mummy Platty died. Hell, even the cat got upset. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I kind of agree with that, Alice, but you know, sometimes it's certain. I ain't gonna make you a mod for a day, Bob. I'm gonna make you a mod and leave you a mod. There you go, bud. Share away any links you feel you may want to share, especially, as I say, if it's for Candy and Stacey. Hi, Ness. Yeah, well, you can share those links, Paul, but remember you're on the ISN channel at the moment. Yeah. So for those that might not know, well, I think everyone probably does. Candy, who is the mod god, super mod, absolutely wonderful, awesome, lovely person, and has been going through. Well, her son had Caleb. children's blood disease. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. But he had that and was having treatment for months or years. And now her husband Stacey's had a pretty serious heart attack. Leukemia, that's the one. And so, yeah, so being American, big bills, all that kind of palaver. I had all sorts of things go wrong and everything. Yeah, so there's been a GoFundMe set up by the Fish Fam, and just help out in any way we can, because she helps give so much back to the hobby and the community. Yeah, I try to watch you, Chris, but unfortunately, the time you're on is when I am. How can I put this? When I'm with my girlfriend. So yes, I do tend to stick you on the TV on YouTube, but obviously sharing time with my lovely lady. Yeah. So you get the watch, and if I don't put it on, then I'll watch it back on the Monday morning usually. Same with everyone's. Yeah. Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah. Want to see a video of that one, Alien World? That's certainly going to be an interesting tank. The fish coming back and forth from each side. But yeah, so that's the reason we've all got a GoFundMe together for Candy anyway. Because yeah. Oh, sweet. As long as you leave it as a Halloween tank all year round. I'm still looking for a decent model of Cthulhu to put into a tank. Most of the ones I see are either just really poor or just way too small. So it's something I've definitely thought about, is putting a model into a tank, but then it's so I'm just sat here watching Ginger, the longfin super red bristlenose, doing her thing, chomping on the algae. Yeah, how I say, putting a model in a tank, I've thought of it, but there's a lot of issues with things that might be toxic or aren't toxic, or fragile, small, sharp pieces. And, I'd rather not do it and keep my fish healthier than do it and have unhealthy fish. As Chris, sometimes it's hard enough to keep these things alive. And sometimes they seem to do everything they can to try and kill themselves almost. And I had a couple of nerites actually escape out of a fluval flex the other day. I came down in the morning, now crawling around on the top of the tank. Yeah. So what have I been? So we got a bunch of newer people in who weren't here right at the start. So as I say, my fishy news of the week is I moved 3 nerite snails into that 25 litre, which has got the copper harlequins, the CPDs, and the female ram in it. And probably tomorrow I'll be seeing if I can get a male ram. In that, one of the Pseudomagil furcatus, unfortunately, one of the males passed. No sign of any disease or injuries, so don't know why. Everyone else is perfectly fine, healthy in there. Through the poo, yeah. Pond, I just got to finish tightening up the edges. Had to clean out the filter this week, and that was particularly nasty. Thick black slime and all sorts of small live things. Oh, yeah, yeah, it was horrible, but needed to be done. Hey, select pet, lurk away. I don't mind. I'll sit here and talk to myself if I need to. But yeah, I just got to finish sorting the edging out and a bit of trimming on the pond, and that'll be bang up and sorted. And yeah, I'll be starting water changes again tomorrow. I tend to spread it out over a couple of days, which I can get away with at the moment, not working. And yeah, I had the notification come up that I am now eligible for all the making millions from YouTube videos. Not. So I may look into that this week. I don't know. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, so it's something that's taking a bit of getting used to, because I've done a lot of group live streams with the International Scale Modeler Friday night live stream, where there's usually sort of half a dozen to 9 of us, in which case it's banter between us and then the audience joins in. But actually doing it and holding it down on your own is a lot trickier. Yeah, 45 cents a month. Probably would be about that if I was lucky, Chris. It might just about pay for the electricity to run the laptop. If I could, Paul, if I could figure that all out, then I think I would quite happily have you on here. Hey, Spruglu. Hello, Dave. Well, yeah. It's one thing talking to yourself, and it's another thing talking to yourself when you haven't got a camera pointed at you. That's it's yeah. Oh dear, $4 every 6 months. Well, so yeah, it's yeah. Although, yeah, at least kind of now we won't have children at school when they're asked what they want to be, saying, "I want to be a YouTuber." Yeah, because you're not gonna, unless you're a really big channel, you're never going to make enough money from YouTube to support yourself, let alone if you've got a family. Spruglu, depends on the tank, depends what's in there, how big it is, how big the filters are. But generally, I do a partial water change every week on all the tanks. Generally, clean out the filters at the same time. Trim the plants. So, but by having planted tanks, it does mean I leave most of the muck in the gravel or the substrate, because it's fertilizer for the plants. But yeah, I'd probably spend. I mean, this one behind me is the biggest pig to do. It's, that gets a 3 bucket water change every week, which is 3, 9, probably about 9 gallon, which is about a 20% water change. So it runs at sort of between 10 and 20 parts per million nitrate. So yeah, that's why I decided to go on a Saturday, Chris. I was looking at it thinking, well, where could I actually fit in? There's yeah, they definitely can be, Paul. I'm not quite brave enough to go the filterless route. But yeah, my tanks are slightly heavier stocked. Did you get yourself some more Endless today, Paul? Yeah. Oh. Now, by football, I'm guessing you mean handball. Because football is played with your feet, not your hands. Ah, cool. Yeah. James will enjoy the balloon platies. Would I go filterless? All depends on the tank. So it's all about balancing the stocking levels with the planting levels. And I mean, this tank behind me is pretty much fully stocked. I could probably get a bit more in there if I wanted to. As obviously there are some fish and some large shrimp hiding up at the moment. But the platies produce plenty of poop. There's a fairly sizable bristlenose pleco in there as well. Somewhere hiding. Oh, no, she's gone. Dave, she has gone to sleep in the cucumber or courgette. Vampire shrimp. Yes, I do. Well, by that, hang on, let's see if we can see any. No, they're all hiding up. There are 3, and they normally hang out in this corner, either on the wood or on the filter. But Pam is sitting up top by the filter at the moment, so they're hiding away from her. But yeah, they just sit there giving it jazz hands all day long. Dima! Hey, Daryl. Yeah, they're great fun until you're doing something in the tank and they grab onto your finger. And that's kind of creepy. Yeah. Although I'd say that anytime I stick my hand in that tank, I get nibbled on. Guppies and platies always seen if there's anything edible. In there, Alice, are guppies, platies, embotetras, pseudomcgill rainbows, Ficcatus Bozemanii rainbow, 2 female crebensis, bristlenose pleco, 3 bamboo or vampire shrimp, and there's probably someone I'm forgetting. No, I think that's actually it at the moment. What are you doing, Dave? Let's see what Dave's up to. He's doing something strange. Just being silly. Pseudomugil furcatus rainbows, Alice. Hang on. Let me type that in there. Yep, and because I've got the Crebensis and the larger rainbow in there, I don't get any guppy or platy fry either out of that tank. They have a lifespan measurable in minutes. It's yeah. I just debating on whether to get another male Crebensis so that either Pam or Cribby can have a boyfriend. But I get the feeling that if I do stick a male in there, then one of the females will probably end up being killed. As one pair off, they'll get rid of the excess. That tends to be what happens. So I mean, there's lots of caves and hidey holes in there, but well, just be. They are very pretty, Alice. Well, Sprugly, just be glad I'm not calling you a Cystidia lucia perca. That's a Xander or a walleye, if you didn't know. Yes, my. Oh. Yeah, well, that tank's not big enough for a goldfish, especially not a fantail. And I've got 3 comets in the pond, and that's pushing it. That's 160 gallon. Never had one, but I've caught one, and that wasn't fun. I was fishing for perch with worms and accidentally a ½ pound. Was it Anguilla? Yeah, the freshwater eel. So yeah, 3½ pounds. So it was about 2 feet long, and just tied itself into knots around the line. Absolute nightmare. I think about a pound of that weight was just slime. Oh, thank you, Alice. I don't know, doing well. Got 15 watching and 11 likes. I'll take that kind of a. Yeah, I'll say it's one of those things I've thought about, but pretty sure none of my tanks are really big enough for any kind of eel, and they would probably eat virtually all my fish anyway. As most of my fish are teeny tiny little pretty ones. I'm sure Bob's got plenty of information on them on his channel somewhere. The only eel I know anything about is the standard European freshwater eel. The one that goes all the way down to the Sargasso Sea to give birth. And the only reason you get the big ones is oh, mwah, love you, Alice, you nutter. Yeah, I'll say that is the only eel I know really anything about, is the bog standard olive drab coloured freshwater UK European eel. Very interesting life cycle, and quite happy to come out of the water and cross land. But when they get trapped in the lakes or whatever, that's when you get the big ones. Yeah, so that is the only problem with the hobby. Is hey Don, but yeah, if you see all these pretty fish and awesome looking fish, and then you can't keep them. G'day, Rob. How you doing? Bob was trying to, I don't know, trying to type Don Juan or 5 a.m. there, 20 to 8 in the evening here, Rob. Five a.m., mate. That's not early. Well, not if you suffer with insomnia, anyway. 22 fish in 300. I'd probably have about 322 fish in a 300 gallon, Chris. Oh, Rob's just not gone to bed yet. What, you up yowie hunting? Oh, what was the other one? Was it the Junjudi? Yes, I was watching some videos on Australian cryptids the other day. Amazing how so many of them are the same the world over, just got different names. Right now, does anyone know if anyone else is going live anytime soon, so I don't overrun anyone? Or oh, I was going to say, you've been filming Dr. Black again, have you, Rob? Yeah, there's Pam. Hey Pam, how you doing? Give Buddy a fuss for me. I think I'll go like another 10 minutes. Yeah, I knew I'd probably be going over someone, but it's finding the day and the suitable time. It's yeah. So I mean, I started doing these in the hope that I can get more of the UK and European kind of fish fam going together, and obviously also time. So hopefully I can get the Americans and maybe some of the oh, Oh dear. Shirtless Blackie. Oh, be still my beating heart. So yeah, Pam, I've got a new webcam. That's all that is. So I've just got to get some Vaseline to put on the lens so you don't see me quite so crisply, because no one wants to see that. When you donate a prize, Dave, my goldies, I'll say it's just 3 comets in the pond in my case, Bob. They're called Holmes, Moriarty, and Baskerville. Yeah. Did you have a proper burial for him, Chris, or her? Because most of mine get full burials in the garden, especially if they're a named fish. If it's just random guppy number 7, then they I'm a bit of a softie when it comes to animals. It doesn't help when the cat sits there crying as well. Oh, all curled up. That's gutting. But yeah, go for it. Oh heck, one of mine was called Brokeback. Oh, I've not flushed anyone. Yeah, I understand it must be really annoying, Rob, not being able to necessarily get the fish or the shrimp you want, but given the amount of idiots that do then go and put fish or shrimp or whatever into the native waterways. I mean, it's not too bad in the UK because our waterways get cold enough in the winter to kill anything tropical. But we do have goldfish and various crossed versions of them now. So we get fan-tailed common carp, brown goldfish. And they're crossing with the Crucian carp as well, which is a problem. Yes, this is the problem. No, someone who's sensible won't do it, and won't buy something that's going to get too big. But how many people do you think have bought red-tail catfish or common pleco? Well, just look at Florida for the common pleco problem they've got there at the moment. You know, people bought them from PetSmart, Petco, Walmart. I think that's the 3. and they got too big for their tanks, and they just dumped them in the local stream or pond or whatever, and destroying things. Same with the snakeheads. Yeah. Yeah, that's some of these things. Some of these fish, it's amazing what they can take compared to what is prescribed. I say, so if you think about it, now in a natural environment, it doesn't stay the same temperature all year round. There will be warmer times and colder times. Yeah, koi are basically common carp, and they get called lake pigs because they'll eat anything, and any bottom feeders are especially in trouble. Yeah, yeah, the Cyprinus carpio. They're just a highly line bred version of the standard brown common carp. Well, I'm surprised I haven't done leather or mirror scaled yet. Yeah, carp can survive anything. It's one of those reasons where like certain heavily line bred fish get fragile. Electric blue rams are a lot more fragile than a standard ram. So whereas a koi is still pretty robust, but compared to a standard common carp, I'd say those things will survive in a muddy puddle quite happily. There's also the fact that the settlers knew how to catch carp, didn't necessarily know how to catch things like barramundi. And that has just exhausted my knowledge of Australian fish. Rather than bull sharks. Now, so that's why Antarctica is just so important. It's because it's the only continent we haven't messed up yet. I'm sure there are fish living in the Amazon basin that shouldn't be there. Animals, all sorts. Yeah, it's oh yeah, carp are a bad invasive fish anyway, just because of the sheer size they get to. Pond is doing well, Bob. It's got a healthy crop of algae in it at the moment around the liner, but I don't mind that. That's just food for everything and covers up the liner. Filter's doing its job. It's not leaking. If anything, it overflowed the other day. Yes, Dave, I probably will end up getting more tanks. It's just one of those things. You spot another fish you really want, and then you realise it can't live with anything you've already got. So you need another tank for it. But I'll have to wait until I'm working again, though. The next one I've got my eye on is quite expensive. It's the 32-gallon Flex with the stand. And then I might have a go at some proper cichlids. And we'll see what happens then. or maybe some shell dwellers. There's all sorts I'd like to have. A proper man-sized cichlid, Rob. At the moment, I'm kind of limited to things crebensis size, apistogrammas, rams, checkerboards, that kind of thing. Not your Africans or anything like that. And I'm not going angelfish again because Dorian turned out to be a man. But I'll probably only go for a pair of them anyway, and then figure out what else I could jam in. But I do like my planted tanks, which makes that a bit of a problem. Although, yeah, I could probably figure something out. Yep. Oscars. Blue dolphin. Yeah, that's man size. I know you are, Dave, and I appreciate it. Hey, Physioholic. Yeah. Thanks for hanging on for so long, Alice. Peacock bass. Yeah, I think that might be a little bit big for a 32-gallon flex. I know, I'll get a pair of Dovi. That'll do. While I'm at it, I'll get an Arapaima in there as well. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, Bob? You see a baby one, it looks gorgeous. It's a nice price. It's very tempting to buy it. But if you don't realise just how big it's going to get, yeah, so you get a baby peacock bass, you stick it in your happy little community tank, and then, yeah, within 2 weeks it's outgrown the tank and there's no other fish left. Yeah, it's. I'm saying the other thing is the limiting factor is the size of an English house. Mine is not large, but it's kind of a standard size for a relatively new build 2-bedroom house. This is supposed to be the dining room. Yeah, so this is supposed to be the dining room, and the laptop is pretty much in the kitchen. It's yeah, so this is it, Rob. When people start talking about 125-gallon tanks, 240-gallon or 300-gallon tanks, you're looking at it and going, which room could I put that in? Is there a way I could use it as a settee and sit on it or sleep on it? Because something like that, you'd be losing a room, pretty much. By UK standards, outside of real big, people who are really into the hobby, by UK standards, that's basically a 45. That's considered a big tank. Now you see the racks of 10 gallons, and you think that'd be cool, but where could I put it? I think probably 20-gallon is one of the main tanks in the UK. Hey Melvin, line up 3 6-foot tanks, throw a double on top. See, I was actually wondering if you could get a clear inflatable sofa type thing and fill it with water and put a heater and filters and stuff in it. Probably not a good idea when you smoke. Have anything inflatable. Yeah, it's I'll figure things out. If I didn't have the man cave upstairs for modelling, then I'd have a lot more space. But go away notification. So I can't put fish tanks up there simply because of the things, the chemicals and stuff that I use and spray around. When yes, decaling might be a bit of a problem underwater. But yeah, it's that's a bit easier said than done, Dave. I've actually got brick walls in this house. There's no stud work, so they're basically all structural. Yes, hello. You've had your food. Hi, Chris. If you got the money and you got the space, go for it, brother. No, Bob. I've not seen either of them. So at the moment, Don, it's 6 display tanks, a fry grow out tub, pond, and a quarantine tank to be set up when and if I need it. Yeah, it might not be easy to do, but I like to find the easy way of doing everything. I like to be efficient, or I'm lazy. Yeah. Look on it as karma, Chris. It's karma paying you back for losing Sammy. Hi Dee, how you doing? Yes, unfortunately, this is what I look like, and even worse, how I sound. But at least no one's accused me of sounding either Scottish or Liverpudlian today, so that's a bonus. Yeah, so I haven't even got a garage, Chris. I have off-street parking. That's about as good as it gets around here. You don't want to know how much house prices are these days in the UK. Hey, Fishaholic. Unless I'm getting confused. You see, it's been a long day. I'll say. I don't think of any of the what I'd call fishy peeps in here rather than model peeps. I don't think any of us have got one fish tank. Anyone in this stream has either got no fish tanks or several. So we're looking at Pam's got the most tanks. I think. Yeah. You should get one though, Dave. You'd have great fun. Oh yeah. Well, as I say, I'm in a relatively standard size 2-bedroom semi-detached house in a small town, and they're going at the moment, I think, for about £125,000, and something the size of some of what I see. The American style houses would be, well, I think some of the new build 4 beds, so probably the equivalent to US 3-bed, about 300,000 and up, which makes me glad that I bought my house when the house prices were at the lowest they've been for a long time. Forgot about the 2040s. Yeah. And there's a dollar per gallon sale on at the moment, isn't there? So there you go. Yeah. Right. I'll keep going a little bit longer as there's still people here. So I'll have one more puff. Right. Any glass box counts. Don't take long to fill it up with water and chuck something in there. Because as we all know, once you've got 1 or 2 tanks that are set and running and solid, ooh, yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, I guess house prices everywhere. Oh, thank you, Dee. Yeah, house prices and everything everywhere are going up. And the thing is, when you rent, you're paying someone else's mortgage and a bit more as well. Oh, very nice of you, Melvin. But yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. When I bought this place 22 years ago, it was 34.5. So yeah, it's pretty much nearly gone up 100 grand in that time. And I paid the deposit and the solicitor's fees from selling my guitar. You can give it a go, Dave. If I were you, I'd go filtered to start with, though. You're going to get it's easier if you've got a filter in there. Let's just put it that way. Say, if you want more information on anything, most of these guys in this chat here know a hell of a lot more about fish tanks than I do. So I've only been keeping fish a little over a year. Oh, good question, Alice. I've got to say Platy's Rock. But anything that's relatively small, pretty, hardy, friendly, and doesn't take too much looking after. Although right at the moment I'm loving these little glow light Danios because they're just zooming around like nutcases. And the golden barbs are pretty. Yeah, well, you got to try these things once, ain't you, Rob? I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna say I've had an angelfish that went rogue. I had the yo-yo loaches that started murder killing everything. Oh yes, the angelfish is back at the pet shop again because apparently she then murdered someone else's tank, and the yo-yo loaches are there permanently now because they've been sold to 2 other people, and they've killed convicts and what was the other one? An Oscar. I don't know what I did to those yo-yo loaches, but they turned psycho. Yeah, so that's it, Alice. As I'm relatively new to the hobby, I don't really want things that are going to be very tricky to keep. I was watching Dan's fish this morning. He's got his Scarlet Baddis. And they're gorgeous. But I know they are tricky to feed. Oh yeah, yeah. Cribs are awesome. So I've got the 2 female cribs in here, Cribby and Pam. And Pam is actually the mother of the 83 cribs that are in the grow out tub at the moment. Yes, Pam, you had that many kids. Yeah. Yeah, she killed her husband, but looked after the kids really well. Why do you think I named her Pam? Oh yeah, well, I mean, so I'm in Norfolk in the UK, and we've got chalk and flint bedrock. So yeah, I mean, was it the KH of my water out of the tap is somewhere around 20. KH and GH are both up around 20 parts, whatever it is. Way off the scale anyway. If you use the API test kit, you run out of scale and have to work out what it is. I hope it's not a logarithmic scale, but yeah. If you around here, you basically have to defer your kettle every week, and you get if you've got a leaky tap, you'll get a stalactite coming down off the tap. Let's put it that way. Oh damn, Chris, that's not good. Yeah, Melvin, I love salties too. They're super pretty, but it's a lot more for me to learn then. More expensive and a lot to learn and a lot trickier to do. Oh yeah, yeah. Rift Lake cichlids would be perfect. I'd be swimming around chewing on the water. I think that's probably also why my Neos do so well near Caradina, because the water's that hard. Oh yeah, that's good and hard there. Yeah. Yeah, I'll say when you know the fish are like that and you're going to set up a tank for them, it's not a problem. But it's when you don't know and you just think, oh, that's a pretty fish, and you put it in your. No. Can you imagine if I stuck a small Mbuna in there? Give it a couple of days, I would maybe have a rainbow fish, a Bozemanite, and Dave the Pleco. That'll be it. Actually, Bimble the Platy would probably survive because Bimble's just awesome. We're talking about a baby platy that survived having Apistogrammas and angelfish and Psycho-yo-yo loaches in there. From being born, it survived in there with that lot. So, yeah, crushed shell around here, I just chip it off the taps. Literally, you just go and chip chunks of calcium off the taps if you want. Oh, that'd be sweet, baby Oscars. Lieutenant Dan. First part, you can't. Second part, probably not too good. Yes. We say the pet stores can be terrible. Do the people in the pet shop know? That's one thing if you're going into a purely fish shop with a bunch of fish keepers that work there. But I think a lot of the issue people have, especially with chain stores, is the fish person won't be in there every day. If you go in there on a day when the fish person's not in there, you can do, Dan, but I wouldn't recommend it with a Pleco or a Corydoras. So if you go into the shop when the person on the fish department isn't a fishy person, then yeah, that's when the problems are going to happen. I mean, my local chain store, Pets at Home, we have in the UK, is actually really good. They get slated by loads of people. Thank you, Bob, for posting that link again. Let's say it's much like Pets at Home or Petco in the US. You get good ones, you get bad ones. Luckily, my local one is a good one. The people in there know what they're talking about. They ask the right questions. Admittedly, it does, they've got the set your tank up, wait a day and add fish. But as so fishaholic, it all depends on your local Pets at Home. And yeah, people just don't think to ask sometimes. Again, you see the pretty fish and you go, oh, I want. Then you buy it. Or even people sometimes just lie. I go, I get asked what size tank you got. I was talking to, last time I was in Pets at Home, and Mike, one of the fishy guys in there, he was saying that someone wanted to buy some. I think it might have been an Oscar because they do a couple of them, and he asked, "No, what size tank you got?" And he said, "Oh, 15 litre." And he went, "Yeah, that's not big enough for that fish." And I went, "Oh, sorry, I meant 150." Yeah, which still isn't really big enough for an Oscar, but So they just lied about the size of the tank, but I go in and I go, "How big is your tank?" And I go, "Which one?" And I go, "Okay, fair enough." As you asked earlier, Fishaholic, there's nothing spectacular in any of my tanks. I've got platies, guppies, bristle noses, crebensis, a betta, peacock gudgeon, Pseudo McGills, Bozemunii, and ram. Soon to be 2 rams. And then shrimp and snails and all sorts of whatever other small creatures might happen to be living in there. And outside I've got a couple of buckets of water in that I'm currently breeding mosquito larvae. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not selling short. Yeah, I've got no cares fish. I've got no rare fish or tricky to keep fish. Pretty much all beginner fish. Oh, I forgot glow light danios, celestial pearl danios, harlequin rasbora. Well, copper harlequin rasbora. Yeah, microbensis bred in the tank they weren't supposed to breed in. They were basically going through quarantine in that tank, and then they decided to breed. Then the female killed the male. So now I just got 2 females in the tank behind me. And they do have the occasional spat and I mean, luckily Cribby's getting really good at regrowing her tail because Pam keeps trying to eat it. But, you know, they just have a spat every so often, really. It's nothing serious. They just argue about who gets to live in which cave. Yeah, so I've got 83 of them, I think, and they're getting on for 3/4 of an inch now. So it won't be too much longer, hopefully, before I can sell them on. But they're in the 40-litre bucket, or 10-gallon bucket, basically, along with some random guppy fry, because the virgin guppies that I got, yeah, less than a week. See you later, Dave. Yeah, less than a week later, the virgin guppies gave birth. So I've gradually been pulling them out and popping the guppy fry in there. They tend to disappear fairly rapidly. I mean, they are tender and delicious. Oh, believe it or not, Rob, there's cherry shrimp in there. I don't see them very often, but they're in there. Yeah, I think mollies are kind of an estuarine fish, aren't they? So they go back and forth between fresh brackish and salt in the wild. So and I'm out of Red Bull. And we're at the 1.5-hour mark. So, and my bladder is telling me it's about time to finish. So, as I'm sure you don't want me weeing myself, I will end it here. Thanks everyone for turning up. joining in, having a chat, leaving your likes and all that stuff. And I shall see you again same time next week. Bye bye. He says, trying to look for the button to press.